Hello, and welcome to another episode of Understanding. I'm Craig Biddle. I want to talk about atheism today, in particular, in light of the fact that several major figures, including Ayaan Hirsi Ali, have converted recently from atheism to Christianity or to some form of religion. And oftentimes, the reason given for the conversion is that atheism wasn't providing meaning or purpose or morality or the like. And I want to talk about this claim and why it's both true but also irrelevant. So atheism can no more provide meaning or purpose in someone's life than a donut hole could provide flavor or calories. There's nothing there. There, Atheism is not a positive philosophy. It is simply the position that one has in which the person doesn't believe in the existence of God. So it's a negative. It's not a positive statement about what is. It's a lack of belief, typically based on the fact that there's a lack of evidence in support of the claim that there is a God. So when someone says that atheism didn't give me meaning or purpose or doesn't give me meaning or purpose, of course it doesn't give you meaning or purpose. A negative, the absence of something, can't give you anything. A donut hole cannot give you flavor or calories. So what people need if they want meaning and purpose in life is they have to understand what these concepts mean. And I did an earlier episode of understanding on that, which you can look up. But the point is that you need a positive philosophy in life if you want to have the things that some people think you get from religion. Meaning and purpose being two of them. But let's talk about morality. And in my last episode, I talked about rights. But you can get all of these things: meaning, purpose, morality, rights, information about how to act in your life so that you can act successfully and have a beautiful, fulfilling career and wonderful relationships with friends and a romantic partner and beautiful art to surround yourself with and engage in, and all of these things. You can get all of these from a completely secular, atheistic, but also positive morality that has to be added in with that atheism. If it's just atheism, if it's just an absence, just a negative of I don't believe in God, that doesn't give you anything. So what people need is a positive morality about the nature of the world. What is this place we live in? Are things, governed by natural law such that they are what they are and they can act only in accordance with their identities? Or can miracles happen? Can a supernatural power make things happen that are actually impossible, like a man rising from the dead after 3 days being dead, or a woman turning into a pillar of salt, or a snake, talking, or whatever? This is a negation of the factual nature of the reality in which we live. And if you have the wrong fundamental view of the world, this is the branch of philosophy called metaphysics, then you're going to have a flawed understanding of your relationship to the world and what it is that's possible in this world and what's impossible and how we should act in accordance with those possibilities. So you need a positive view of the nature of the world. That's metaphysics. We also need to understand where our knowledge comes from, what knowledge is, and how we can validate what we think we know to be true. The traditional Aristotelian understanding of where knowledge comes from is it comes from reason, from observation, mental integrations of the things that we observe using our senses, the formation of concepts on the basis of that, the formation of, sentences and propositions and generalizations and principles on the basis of all of that. And this is, in fact, if you look at the actual history of the world, this is where our knowledge comes from. How do we put together factories and build cars and put satellites in the sky and figure out how the economy works and figure out what kind of psychological problems people have and whether they need self-esteem and all of these things? Where does this knowledge come from? It comes from people using reason. Reason is our means of knowledge. And if you understand this, and if this is your epistemology, that's the second branch of philosophy, what that studies, what knowledge is, the nature of knowledge, and how we know what is so. If reason is your idea of where knowledge comes from there, then you're going to be able to keep your mind connected to reality using reason. If you think that faith is a means of knowledge, if you think that just believing something to be true is going to give you knowledge, which is what religion claims to be the case. Some religionists will dodge this fact, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. But the fact of the matter is that historically, religion treats, all three of the major monotheistic religions at least, treat faith, the just believing something to be true, as a means of knowledge. But it is not a means of knowledge, and every thinking adult on some level knows that this is the case. So that's another area in which you need a positively life promoting and positively assertive philosophy on how you're going to think and live your life. So that's that second branch. In the middle branch of philosophy is ethics. What is good and bad, right and wrong? How should we act and how shouldn't we act? Well, we certainly need information and knowledge about this. And do you get it from faith and revelation, or do you get it from looking at the factual requirements of human life here on earth and then codifying those factual requirements into principles of action, how we should and shouldn't act based on the fact that the very thing that gives rise to the need of such principles is that we want to live. We want to live and pursue the values that will enable us to have, live beautiful and fulfilling lives. So if you have a positive view of morality based on the factual requirements of human life here in this actual world in which we live, rather than pining for some other world that doesn't exist, then you will have meaningful understanding of the world and your needs and good principles with which to guide your thinking and acting. So this is where meaning and purpose and all of the values of human life reside, is in this kind of thinking based on reason and the factual nature of the world and human nature. And then we get to the concept of rights, which I mentioned in a prior video. And those are simply recognitions of the fact that in order to take the actions necessary to live as human beings, we need to be free to act on our judgment, which is our basic means of living. So all of this is a positive view of philosophy. It's not atheism, even though it is atheistic if you think about things this way. There's no evidence for the existence of God, so we don't accept the idea of God. Moreover, if God is defined as being unlimited and all-knowing and omnipotent, all-powerful, and all these things, meaning that he has no limitations, that rules out the existence of God right there. Because if for a thing to exist, it has to be something specific. It has to be limited to what it is. And that's the whole nature of existence, is any given thing, whether it's a bird or an atom or a joke, anything that exists has a nature. And if it doesn't have that nature, it's not that thing. And if it has unlimited nature, then it has no specific nature, which means it's not a thing. And that's the realm in which God exists. It's a fantasy concept. So the alternative of atheism being like a donut hole, which is supposed to give you meaning and purpose and morality and rights and all of that, versus God being the source of all of that, is basically the alternative of nothing giving you that or nothing giving you that. It's a nothing alternative there. That is not helpful for anyone. If we want to live as human beings and have all the values that are necessary, both material values and spiritual values and cultural values and political values, we have to use our minds and think about what is the case here in this world and what kind of beings we are and what we need in order to live. And neither atheism alone nor fantasies about a super dictator in the sky serve this purpose. So of course atheism is not going to give someone meaning, purpose, morality, rights, or any of those kinds of things. There's no there, just like there's no God there. So here again, I think just understanding the need of positive philosophy, the kinds of things that constitute positive philosophy, which we'll talk much more about in future episodes here on understanding, this is what we need to know, and we need to help other people understand this as well. So I hope you found this interesting and fun. If you have, please share it with your friends. Also, please like my channel. I haven't said much about that in past videos, but I should start saying it if we want to get this thing up and running and out there to more people. The algorithm likes your likes, and comment, ask questions, and let me know what you think. Join me next week for another episode of Understanding, and I will see you then. In the meantime, keep loving life.